Acción, tu revista mensual de cine y series, con los mejores estrenos de cine, fichas y reportajes coleccionables, series de televisión y 4 pósters todos los meses. Búscala en tu kiosco.
Terrifier 3.
Yes.
What's new this time? What kind of audience is going to watch the film tonight?
What?
What's
Christmas.
New?
Yeah.
Christmas.
It's Christmas. It's a Christmas. It's a family film.
It's jolly.
Oh boy, what is new? Oh, Victoria's a new addition to this one. Yeah, she's definitely a new version of Victoria, I guess you could say.
Yeah, she's a bit manic, a bit agent of chaos.
Yes.
Yeah.
Actually, that's you. You're an agent of chaos.
Oh, of course. I am not the avatar of chaos, I guess you could say. So yeah. Gosh, a lot more mayhem, I would say.
Amazing actors and performances.
Yes.
I mean, it was amazing in 2, but the level in this is just unbelievable.
Yeah.
I mean, every scene.
Ratcheted up.
Yeah.
Just like everything great in this one. I'm so happy with this one. I'm so proud
Oh
of
yeah,
everybody.
every department truly like upped their game. Like, yes, the levels have gone through the roof, and it's really so invigorating to see it as someone who like as we worked so incredibly hard. I saw how hard they've worked, and I of course worked hard. And to see the fruits of our labor is there's nothing like it.
I have the feeling watching the film that this franchise, this saga has evolved in every aspect along the years. That this time is, you can feel, it's not only the budget, but you can feel that there is visually, it looks better and it looks cleaner and looks. So how's been that for you, being part of it from the inside? Because we can watch it from the outside and see, okay, it looks better.
I've been happy with it. It was nice having a bigger budget, especially for the kill scenes. We really went crazy with a lot of these kill scenes in this, and that was made possible by having a bigger budget. We were able to hire a fantastic makeup team, Christian Tinsley's team, that has award-winning team. They did like the Passion of the Christ and Renfield and Westworld, so they knew really how to up our game on these kill scenes, and we went all out on them.
Yeah, it's really interesting to see these films evolve from part 1 to 2 and to 3. It's actually kind of amazing because I feel like we're seeing it visually evolve, but everyone in their own artistry, whether it's Damien and David and Lauren and I myself, and where the characters start and where they end up. It's just beautiful evolution that is really, like Lauren was saying, it's like seeing the fruits of your labor, because these types of films, even though the budget gets bigger, that doesn't mean it's not that it doesn't get more intense. I think sometimes it gets even more intense because we end up doing a lot more. And I think the expectation of the audience, which we want to fulfill, is that it's going to get bigger and better and more, intense. And so we're working even harder, and yeah, it's been a pleasure to see over a decade it from where it started to here. It's kind of like newer in Sitges. It's like it's wild.
Yeah.
And I want to ask you about Sienna, about the character, because it was kind of a change when you take the place of the screen queen, the final girl, and now there is a continuity. That the story goes on, and we know more about your character, but she is really damaged from the previous film. So how's been that for you? Because she suffered a lot in these 2 films.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. She is damaged, but I think she was even damaged in Terrifier 2, and I think it's a really interesting response to, you can call it a trauma response or just to horrific events, and I think it's a testament to people who have gone through such difficult things. It's interesting because I find that fear, even though it's considered a negative thing, it keeps us going. In fact, it protects us. And I think Sienna, who of course in Terrifier 2, she had suffered from loss, she had suffered from anxiety, she understands what needs to be done to keep going. So I think that's the through line between Terrifier 2 and Terrifier 3. In terms of the work, I absolutely love diving deep into someone who is that damaged. And someone who has experienced such horrific events and what that does to them emotionally, physically, and mentally. So I was absolutely thrilled when Damien told me about Sienna's journey and what direction he wanted to go. I was ready to collaborate. I was ready to do the work. And I'm actually very happy with the direction that we've taken with Sienna, because I think trauma can be considered a trope in horror films. And I think we've handled it in a unique way. So I'm happy I'm excited for more people to see that.
I don't want to spoil anything because there are huge surprises, but I also had the feeling that both your characters are women that lost a lot. I don't know if there is anything else to lose for both of your characters, because there is no much more to lose. Even the sanity is lost for them. So how's that journey for both of you?
It's intense. It's because I think it's intense because as actors, especially I try to put myself, when I was playing an earlier version of Vicky in the first film, trying to put yourself in that place where you lose, the person that you love the most, and someone and other people that you care about, and then you're traumatized just from the experience that you're going through, and then even just to lose your identity, because I think even your physical appearance, how you see yourself, is completely taken from you, and then you're left with that physical and that visual on a day-to-day basis is pretty traumatic. So yeah, it is an intense process to try to carry that and do justice to that, because as crazy as it may seem, there are people who go through this, if not worse. It's not, as much as we're doing a horror film, it's like there's a lot of horrors that exist in everyday life, and I'm very lucky and grateful to not have experienced that. But yeah, those are very real things.
Yeah, I absolutely echo everything Sam said. There's a true intensity to it. I mean, in Sam's case, her intensity, there was another layer to it because of all the prosthetics that she needed to wear and how uncomfortable that was. But it also is very rewarding to see that, because you do want to do justice to it. And when you're told by people, and I've been told, I'm sure Sam will be, or may have been told this after Terrifier 1, that they felt represented by that. And I think that's what I find the most interesting, is trying to find the honesty in that, or the realness and the truthfulness in a killer clown movie. It's really rewarding, and it's a fun break from being chased by a clown.
And while they are suffering, he's doing our themes.
Yes.
Yeah. So it's kind of having two films in one. Yeah. We have Sienna coping with the loss, and we have art going to a mall, going to a pub.
Oh yeah.
So how's that for you to play this? I told this to you online, that it's an iconic character.
Oh, yeah.
Just now it's iconic. The people are copying art. So how is that experience this third time, being outside this drama and then going back to it in the at the end?
Oh, yeah, as I like to say, it's the most wonderful time of the fear. It's like, yeah, I got a few of them. But yeah, I had fun with it. I looked at the art. It's like, he's come back from the dead for the second time, and he's like, hey, it's the Christmas season. Let's have some fun. Let's bring some pain and suffering to the masses. So I had a blast doing this one. I think this is like the most sadistic art has been in a while, too. He goes to some really depraved areas. Like, I think one of the big areas that we have gotten some flack for is going after kids. And I was like, yeah, why not? Because that is a horror trope, you know. Of course, the first real big killer clown character, also John Wayne Gacy, but
oh god, yeah.
but you know, Pennywise was that was his whole thing, was going after kids. So why not? That is a horror trope, and it's like it's one of those areas I'm glad that we actually finally covered in some interesting ways. Even though they had covered that in All Hallows Eve, he had actually killed kids. People forget that, but I had a blast. It's like I got to work with some actors that I've respected for a long time, with Clint Howard and Bradley Stryker and Daniel Roebuck in the bar scene, where I really got to let loose and go crazy with those guys. We basically would just improvise for all those days we're on set, especially Danny and I. We had a lot of fun together. He's a great scene partner that knows how to just throw you some great material just to play off of, and we had a blast. And then there's also Chris Jericho, who we got to work with. We had a lot of fun with him, and
he's amazing. He's such a lovely person.
Rolls with it. That was a very surreal moment with both of us putting our bloody hands all over his face.
Well, we were also like massive Chris Jericho fans.
Yeah.
Like I grew up watching WWF before it became WWE.
Yeah, I never imagined like that, because I would watch my roommate and I back in college. That was our like nightly, like every week we would watch him wrestle. Like I had to actually message my buddy after that. I'm like, dude, you will not believe what I just did. But it's those kind of moments. Johnny Abrams, I'm a big fan of scary movies especially. So being able to do a scene with him was fantastic, and it's just like this is the most fun I've had filming any of these movies so far. So I even despite all the makeup and some of the hardships we would go through with on set, where things are a little hot and things get a little so disgusting I almost vomit, but
David is such a trooper, because I would say I would be like, I'd be making noise, like groaning, and I will say this, even though my makeup was long and I had a few days, like a good amount of days, David has had to have worn that face like over 300 plus times. Yeah. And if you keep wearing that thing day in and day out every day, and you were filming like every day besides the day that we had off, your skin starts to like get really irritated. And I was always amazed that even after like doing all these films, you still like how positive he is and how excited you are to like just keep playing.
If the character wasn't that fun, I'd be like, screw this and let someone else do it. But he's such a fun character, I don't want to let go of him.
You mentioned the makeup and the prosthetics, of course, but there's also a lot of blood, a lot of makeup for Sienna. Does it help to develop the character and the scene, or sometimes it gets too uncomfortable to wear all the fake blood, the prosthetics, the guts, the broken fingers?
Oh, it's for me, it was for this one really, really brutal. But it kind of always is tough when even if you're not wearing prosthetics. We're doing independent filmmaking, so it's usually we're filming in abandoned locations that don't have heat, and like it's too much of a hassle to go upstairs around the corner to go to holding where it is warm. So those are the nature of the shoots are always difficult as just an actor in general, but then you add the prosthetic layers and then blood. That stuff is sticky, especially the kind that Damien likes to use, where your like thighs literally stick together and then you have to pry them apart. But I would say most of the time, I'm really grateful, but it's really, really, it's like slow torture. And especially with my prosthetic, I had one eye, and then even that was it was like looking through a straw. That's all I could see. But it does help. I mean, once you're in the scene and you look at yourself, you're like, oh my God. And there's like something that takes over you, because, a lot of the makeup does a lot of the work, which is brilliant, especially Damien's designs and then having Tinsley's studio. It's like surreal, because in one breath you absolutely hate having to do all that, but then you're like, who gets to do that? That's unbelievable. It's awesome.
Last question. Are you all of you ready for Terrifier 4? I don't want to spoil anything about the end, but there has to be a fourth film.
Oh gosh, if Damien was here, he'd be like, can we just enjoy Terrifier, please?
But with that ending, we have to know if there's going to be a fourth film.
Sure. Damien hasn't wrote it yet. So I think we're supportive of him and the journey he'll take these characters, but I'm still reveling in 3.
Same. Yeah.
I'm very excited myself because that's the ending of this script. When I read the script the very first time, that was the one thing I did not want him to change, was how this movie ended. I liked the place that he had left these characters at, both of them in such a vulnerable state that they equal grounds for once. You know, the one that they're both now human, they're both mortal again, and I think that's going to lead to some very interesting possibilities because now they both have agendas going forward. They have goals. They have something that they need back. And both of them are probably going to go to extremes to achieve those goals. And I'm very excited to see where we're going to go with that in part 4.
I'm very excited where they're going to go.
Me too.
Thank you so
But we're
much.
going to enjoy this right now.
Thank you.
We're going to enjoy this Aperol. Cheers.
Acción, tu revista mensual de cine y series, con los mejores estrenos de cine, fichas y reportajes coleccionables, series de televisión y 4 pósters todos los meses. Búscala en tu kiosco.